Otherwise, the bridge will fall, and then there's this thing on the inside called the sound post.
Okay.
And if the bridge isn't pressing down on the top of the violin, the sound post could fall also. So only take off one string at a time. And then what you can do is wrap up the old string and put it into the old one. And then in case you have a broken string and you don't have new strings, then you can use the old one. And you just, I had a pen. You can just put the date onto the envelope. I'll do it with a pencil, I guess. So it's 9, 19, 12. And then, okay, so this is the next part. You hook the ball.
Okay, hook the ball, yes.
Into the fine tuner.
Sorry.
And this one's a little bit tight, but it will go. You know, it's funny that they said that they don't have these strings because it's the same strings that are on her violin now. And I just used a pencil to press it in. The little slot right here was a little bit too small, so I just used a pencil, or you could use like a tiny, tiny flathead screwdriver. The next thing, after you get the string hooked into the fine tuner, is you take it up over the bridge, over the nut, and then you always thread it through the front of the peg, through the hole.
Okay.
Never from the back. And then you always turn it away from you. And then try to make sure that it wraps pretty neatly. She's got a really tiny peg box, so it's not going to be perfectly.
And
then you don't have to tighten it all the way. You can, if you have a tuner, or you can use the first note of the CD, of book 1 CD. It'll give you the note. That's way too low, but I'm not going to worry about it for now. I'm just going to go into the next string.
Okay.
And then you do the same thing for each of the strings.
Okay.
Doesn't matter which order you go in.
But A is always first.
Well, it doesn't have to be. I just start with A.
Okay.
It's just a habit that I have.
Okay.
But then when you tune it, you'll start with the A string, because that's just how we tune it. Start with the A, and then you tune all of the other strings after that one.
Okay.
So thread it into the fine tuner, thread the string through the front of the peg, and then twist away from your face. And when the string starts to wrap around, you'll see, I'm undoing it so you'll see. So I threaded it, and I'm starting to wrap it, and it gets closer and closer to the peg box.
Right.
And that's the way that should be threaded. It shouldn't thread away.
Okay.
So depending on which side of the peg.
Okay.
This one's going to wrap a different way from this because it's on a different side of the box. But always go toward the peg box.
Okay. Now you're tuning right now is a D string.
Yes, uh-oh. That one just slipped out. And sometimes, you see what I'm doing, I'm holding it taut.
Yes.
Because if I let go of it, it'll probably slip out of something. Or the winding up here will get messy.
Okay.
And then always just make sure, you'll see here, there's a little groove that it fits into.
Yes.
Make sure it fits into the groove, and the groove on the bridge also.
Okay.
So then you just need to tighten it a little bit so that it won't fall, and then you just do all of the strings the same way.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
So next time, you should be able to do this pretty well on your own. You might not be able to get it completely tuned, but if she does break a string, you'll know how to do it.
Okay.
Okay.
I looked on YouTube and see if I can get it. It seems to be so easy to do it, but I was so afraid to do it myself.
You could practice with old strings if you wanted
Yes,
to.
I guess so, yes.
If you're not worried about breaking. And as long as you're only doing one string at a time, wait, that's the old one. As long as you're only doing one string at a time, that's how you, so in case you ever wonder, the old one will look like that. It'll be all windy.
Okay.
I just make sure I put it somewhere that I'm not going to put it back onto the instrument. And then the brand new ones are totally straight.
Okay.
So your violin might sound a little bit funny today, but guess what? I changed my strings too today, so we'll both have funny violins. And the trick is to get your violin sounding nice again, because brand new strings, it's kind of like when you wake up in the morning. Are you ever grumpy when you wake up in the morning? A little bit? Well, these strings are a little bit grumpy. It's almost like they've been sleeping their entire lives and they just got woken up. They're not going to sound very beautiful yet. But if you practice them, if you practice on them, if you play your violin a whole lot this week, they'll sound beautiful by the end of the week, okay? And then you won't even recognize that they're new anymore, other than that they just sound really good. They're going to sound way better than your other strings. So the other thing that's happening while I'm changing these strings is the bridge is moving a little bit.
Okay.
And you probably won't feel comfortable moving the bridge right now. But if it gets really out of place, you'll know, because the feet, I call these the feet of the bridge, this little part right here.
Yes.
They should be right next to this little notch on the F hole.
Okay.
And see, this one's a little bit lower, right? It's not exactly, you can actually see where its footprint usually is.
Okay, I hope oh yes, I see.
It's shifted a little bit, so
right.
all I'm gonna do is grab it with my thumb and my first finger, and you see I'm bracing here, and I'm just gonna barely nudge it, and it's actually not wanting to move. I'm not gonna break it. You know, I've done this so many times, I'm not gonna break it. So,
That's good?
yeah,
Okay.
it's better now. You can try it if you want, but you might knock the bridge down if you do it.
Okay.
I can fix it for you in the lesson. So if you don't feel comfortable moving the bridge, then just don't do it.
Okay.
And I'll reset the bridge. If you ever have to change a string and the bridge gets all crazy, I'll just fix it in the next lesson.
Okay.
But that's if you have an emergency where the bridge looks like it's about to fall over, that's what you can do.
Okay.
Just grab it by the feet and shift it very little.
Okay.
The E string is always the hardest one to do, because you actually have to go a little bit under
And
the
okay.
A peg,
Yes.
or the A string.
Oh, it'll be under. Okay,
Yeah,
not over.
I mean, yeah, definitely don't thread it over. You want it to go under.
Okay.
And then, oh, where did it go? You see this little thing that's sliding around?
Yes.
It just goes right on top of the bridge, because the E string is so tiny that it could slice through the bridge, and we don't want that.
Amelie, can you sit down, please?
And I only put it, the top of it, I put it right
Okay.
next to the bridge, because we actually sometimes have to play that close.
Okay.
And now I can tune it.